Kalama lakshita uparai. Amamalakshita parai. Prapta kuru jangalan. Unmata muka jadavat. Ujvasantar savaya. Kamalakshita parai. Prapta kuru jangalan. Unmata mukta jagavat. Ujvasantar savaya. Okay, Katam. How? Alakshita. Recognized. Paurai. By the citizens. Samprapta. Reaching. Kuru Jangalan. The Kuru Jangala provinces. Unmata. Mad. Mukha. Dumb. Jadavat. Stunted. Vicharan. Wandering. Gajasahvaya. Hastinapur. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. How was he, Srila Shukadeva, the son of Vyasa, recognized by the citizens when he entered the city of Hastinapura, now Delhi? After wandering in the provinces of Kuru and Jangala, appearing like a madman, dumb and retarded. Purport. The present city of Delhi was formerly known as Hastinapur, because it was first established by King Hasti. Goswami Shukadeva, after leaving his paternal home, was roaming like a madman, and therefore it was very difficult for the citizens to recognize him in his exalted position. A sage is not, therefore, recognized by sight but by hearing. One should approach a sadhu or great sage not to see him, but to hear him. If one is not prepared to hear the words of a sadhu, there is no profit. Shukadev Goswami was a sadhu who could speak on the transcendental activities of the Lord. He did not satisfy the whims of ordinary citizens. He was recognized when he spoke on the subject of Bhagavatam, and he never attempted jugglery like a magician. Outwardly, he appeared to be retarded, dumb madman, but in fact, he was the most elevated transcendental personality. Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Preshtaya Bhutale Shimate Praladananda Swami Tinamine. Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Preshtaya Bhutale Shimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Tinamine. Aste Sarasvate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shnavadi Pashate Adeshatarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shadvaita Gadadara Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So Shaunaka Rishi is asking how come they realized who is Shukadev Goswami. Because from an external perspective, he is what is called an avaduta. He doesn't care about any rules. He's just walking around naked. Which, of course, this is Vedic times. And it's a bit different than walking around naked in Ljubljana, which you probably couldn't do it for too long. Probably the police will stop you. But he's like that. And we have other examples. We have King Rishabhadev. After he retires, he's also acting like an avaduta. And he he actually does something very extreme. explain a bit why later. I'll just read 2 verses from there. It says, when Lord Rishabhadev saw that the general populace was very antagonistic to his execution of mystic yoga, he accepted the behavior of a python in order to counteract their opposition. Thus he stayed in one place and lay down. While lying down, he ate and drank, and he passed stool and urine and rolled in it. He smeared his whole body with his own stool and urine so that opposing elements might not come and disturb him. So like, okay, I want to chant here. Just leave me alone. And then he's acting a bit strange that people are like... but the nice thing is that these real avadutas, there's still something, some sign to them. Oh, they are acting strange, but then they are not normally crazy people. Ananda Prabhu was telling me at some point, half jokingly, that there is a very little difference between crazy people and advanced devotees. Little. From external perspective, sometimes it's not so big. Anyway, so in the case of Lord Rishabhadev, you see there's also a sign. This next verse says, because Lord Rishabhadev remained in that condition, the people did not disturb him. So that's he achieved his purpose. But what he says is more amazing is next. He says, but no bad aroma emanated from his stool and urine. I mean, he was unconventional, but a bit different than everyone. Quite the contrary, his stool and urine were so aromatic that they filled 80 miles of the countryside with a pleasant fragrance. All right. Okay. Because sometimes we feel like, okay, we want to imitate these avadutas. And then you're like, okay, imitate this. How does your stool smell, There's some aroma around sometimes, maybe not for 80 miles, but some miles. But usually it's not roses. So yeah, that's there are some similarities and some differences. So, okay. So even if he's trying to hide his advancement, someone who understands something, he says, "Oh, this is someone special. This is not a crazy person. This is someone very advanced." We have also similar example. We have Gaur Kishore Das Babaji. He was he just had enough with all these people who come to him and ask him for benedictions. I have a driving license exam. They didn't have driving license exam. But this is kind of stupid. I want to get a wife. I want to have a TV. I want to have everything, whatever they had wanted. This is like petty ideas, and that's not why you go to a sadhu. Okay, I have my plans, and I will tell you what my plans are, and please just say, just give your blessing. So because of that, Gaur Kishore Das Babaji said, okay, I will chant here by the latrine. It stinks, and nobody will come and disturb me. And if they come, I will just ask them to sit down here, enjoy, and let's discuss. No problem. So they instantly. So that was his technique of how to make sure that he's not disturbed in his bhajan. He wanted to chant Hare Krishna. So leave me alone. So yeah. So there's a point here. The question which Shaunaka Rishi, on behalf of the sages, asks is, how do you distinguish who's who, How do you do it? And usually you can't do it by the looks or by how you feel. Sometimes people are so much into how I feel. Well, I was in the presence of this guru and I felt this and I felt this and I felt this. Wow, yeah, okay. I was also in India, and I was like, I got this initiation, and then after the initiation, I felt, some, felt, wow, this nice energy. And the second day, I was exactly the same fool I was before. And then when I came back to the West, I was exactly the same fool as before. So, I mean, what's the point? So, sometimes people are very much impressed with the mystic powers. Oh, he can manifest some ashes in your hand. Wow. But that actually is not. This has nothing to do with spirituality. Absolutely nothing. People who are just like new into spirituality, they're so much impressed that, oh, he manifested some ash in my hand, so he must be God. Whoa, right. No, it's just some material skill. They know how to bring some energy from one place to another. So it's like you know how to build a house. Okay, what does it have to do with the spiritual life? Does that mean that you met Krishna because you know? It's completely unrelated. So the point is, from external perspective, it's very hard to understand who is who, because you don't know. You see something, and you don't know. Even Lord Nityananda sometimes behaves a bit unconventional. So Srila Prabhupada gives the best way how to define who is who. He says you have to hear from them. What is their philosophy? What is their actual philosophy? For example, you have Devendra Prabhu was talking yesterday about Jada Bharata. When he meets King Rahugana, Jada Bharata, as Devendra Prabhu explained, it just acts like he's dumb. And they are King Rahugana is this king. I'm a king, and he has this palanquin, and then he's carried. And one of the carriers somehow took vacation. It's like in the Hare Krišna temple, just devotees just disappear. So he just disappeared. He decided that you'll manage somehow. So they found the Jada Bharata. Said, "Hey, you look strong. Come here. You carry this palanquin." And he's like, "Okay." He couldn't care less. Yeah, whatever, I'm stupid. And he carries this palanquin, and at some point there are some ants, and he's just carrying it in a way that to avoid the ants. And he's, the king is a bit rocked in his palanquin. He's like, "Why, you're so stupid, you cannot even carry a palanquin." And at that point, Jada Bharata speaks very advanced philosophy. And the king says, he's not as stupid as he looks. He starts with ideas that if you think you're a king and I'm your servant, maybe next life I will be a king and you'll be a servant. So, But if you think I should serve you, no problem. I'm here. I'm stupid. And then King Rahugana understands, this is a sadhu. He's acting like he has no idea what he's doing, but this is a sadhu. So then King Rahugana understands, okay, I have to take instructions from this personality. Of course, because he's Vedic king, he understands, he can recognize, this is... So that's the formula Srila Prabhupada gives us. When he was asked about certain personality, Srila Prabhupada, what do you think about Freud? And Srila Prabhupada knew about Freud. He knew about all this, and he had an opinion already. But he was also diplomatic. But also he gave us the formula how to find out who is who. And he said, what is his philosophy? Usually that was his answer. What do you think about this person? I don't know about this person. What is his philosophy? And then devotees would explain, oh, he has this philosophy, this philosophy, this philosophy. And then Srila Prabhupada said, oh, look, this part of the philosophy is good, and this part, not so good. So, yeah. That's how you find out who is who. You hear from them, and you judge according to Guru Sadhu Shastra. That means also that we should read these books and understand the philosophy, and then we should understand when something is fishy, like when you you have to hear when something is like it has to sound. What's this? Like when you have a bicycle or something that is like, and there is some strange sound there. You have to hear, hey, this sound is not it's not normal. So we should know the philosophy good enough that we can understand. Like when someone is saying something which is, and you say, this doesn't sound right. This doesn't sound from Prabhupada's books. Of course, we're like respectful. Yes, Prabhuji, of course, amazing. But still, you're like, yeah. In one ear, out the other ear. So we should be advanced enough that we understand. Oh, this is not from Srila Prabhupada. Okay. So we should, that's the point, we should know the Shastra, and there's some qualification for a sadhu, for an advanced person. For example, there's probably many in the Shastra. One is that he's just repeating Krishna's message. He doesn't say something else. He didn't wake up one morning and he got an Eureka moment and then he knew everything. No, he's just the humble servant of his spiritual master. Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, it talks about this disciplic succession. And even Lord Chaitanya, when asked by Prakashananda Saraswati about why he's chanting Hare Krishna, he gives very simple explanation. He says, my spiritual master told me I'm a fool. My spiritual master told me this. I'm doing what my spiritual master told me. And he also quoted this verse from the Shastra that explains why I should chant this mantra. So you have my guru and Shastra. They both say the same thing. So that's the formula. And a bona fide spiritual master is someone who is just repeating, just following Guru Sadhu Shastra. He's not inventing anything. And of course, there's other signs. And he can control his senses. He's a devotee. He is completely absorbed in Krishna consciousness. Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, always chanting my glories, endeavoring with great determination, bowing down before me, these great souls perpetually worship me with devotion. So if someone is constantly thinking about Krishna, how to serve Krishna, then you might say, well, maybe he knows something. Maybe he has some idea. So there is one thing we can learn from this many, is that in many cases we might not know who is who. We might see something because spiritual life is not so much about actions; it's about consciousness. So we might see something, but facts might be true, but sometimes our interpretation of the facts might be wrong. I gave this example before. One devotee explains that one day he came late for the Sunday feast. and they had gulab jamuns on Sunday feast. And he loved gulab jamuns. And he comes late, and because he had some preaching engagement or something like this, and he goes there and there's no gulab jamuns. They're finished. Tough luck. So he's like a bit disappointed, and then one senior devotee is asking like loudly, hey, servants, hello, is there some more sweets? And then this devotee is projecting, okay, this guy had some sweets already and he wants more, and I didn't have any, and I really love these gulab jamuns. So he's already on this mental trip, like, oh my God. And because this devotee is a senior devotee, one of the servers takes something from his plate and wants to give it to him. And this senior devotee says, no, give it to him. He didn't get any. And he's like, whoo. Actually, this senior devotee saw that he came late, that he didn't get gulab jamuns. And he said he was very thoughtful. He was thinking of him, I want this devotee. He's such a nice devotee. He likes gulab jamun, so he has to have one. So he was making arrangements for him to get one. But this devotee, in his mind, he was thinking, this is such a rascal, like didn't get. So the point of this story is that you can see the actions, you can see what is being done, but sometimes from the action many times we suppose there is some consciousness, there's some thoughts behind, and this part might be wrong. We can see some person is doing something, but we don't know why. And when you discuss, you're like, actually that happened, and that happened, and that happened. We had one discussion with Mukunda. I was like, Mukunda, why did you do this? And then he started explaining, well, actually this happened, and this happened, and this happened at the same time. And then I was like, well, I mean, if you put it like this, it makes sense. So initially I thought, he just, But it made sense. It was like, I was doing also this, and at same time, I had 3 hands here and 4 hands here, and the other I only had 1 hand left. So, what to do? So that's the point, that we can know the facts, but what is the behind the facts, we might not know. Why? And why is the most important? What's the consciousness behind? There are examples. For example, you have Gopala Bhatta Goswami. He was traveling to Jagannath Puri, and he had this person who was very nicely serving him. He said, yeah, you're a sadhu, I want to serve you. So Gopala Bhatta Goswami said, I don't, I'm humble enough. I don't want to be served. No, it's good for me, for my purification, to serve you. So he was serving him all the way, and then they went to Jagannath Puri. They got there, and they came to Lord Chaitanya. And Lord Chaitanya, he looked at this. He said, "Nah, this is a Mayavadi." Lord Chaitanya instantly knew this. This person, he's externally behaving very nicely. Internally, his idea is. There's some other example. His Holiness Radhanath Maharaj explains. I saw some class. He was traveling through India, and he had this person who he was associating with, and this devotee was this person was the devotee of Lord Ramachandra. I think Lord Ramachandra. I don't remember exactly the details. And he was like, he seemed very devotional, like he was like doing service to Lord Ramachandra, always praying to Lord Ramachandra, having a murti, worshipping. Perfect, very nice. And then one day this person says to Radhanath Maharaj, he says, now I'm worshipping Lord Ramachandra, and that's very nice, but very soon I will become Lord Ramachandra. And Maharaj was like, what's this? He seemed such a nice devotee. And Radha Maharaj, okay, I have to run somewhere. He just disappeared, and he didn't associate with that person anymore. So many people can. That's the good side, and that's the bad side. You can act devotional externally, and internally you are a Mayavadi, which generally, when we came to Krishna consciousness, we all were, and now we're trying to get free from that. So this Mayavada is same as you're serving someone, and then you want to kill him. You're serving the king. That's very what it happened. In the past. Many times you had this king. He was very famous, and someone came and he's serving, and one day, when he was sleeping, cut his head. Oh, I'm the new king. So that's Mayavada. Srila Prabhupada explained also. He gave this example to the devotees. One day he was climbing this hill, and he was climbing, and one devotee was helping him, and he was helping him, and then when they got on top of the hill, Srila Prabhupada took his hand, and he like theatrical, like in a dramatic way, he just threw his hand and said, "Go away, I don't need you anymore." So that's Mayavada. That's many times our mentality. Yeah, these devotees will help me, and then I don't need them anymore. Okay, I got what I wanted. Get lost. So the point is that we don't know who is who. We might know to some degree, but to some other degree, we don't know. And if you don't know, then better be a bit conservative. There's this story from, I think it's, I don't know if it's from Christian tradition, but there was this monastery, and they had 3 monks, and the monks didn't get along very well. That's typical Kali Yuga mentality. Everyone was, they were fighting all the time, and they were like, oh, this is a rascal, this is a rascal, this is a rascal, this is a rascal. And then one person came to the monastery, and he saw what's happening, and he said he had a plan. He went around, he told all of them, he said, one of you is the Messiah. And then these people, they were looking around, it's like, well, I'm obviously not the Messiah. So one of the other 2 must be the Messiah. So then their relationships instantly improved, because they looked and it's like, oh, this guy might be special. Or maybe this guy. It's not me, so it must be one of them. And all of them, they had this mentality, Shi Panchatattva ki jai, Shi Gaur Nitai ki jai. So after some time, they started to get along very well, because they were like, oh, I mean, maybe this guy is something special. I don't know. He looks to me like a rascal, but maybe he's not. So you have many, but also, so you have to be a bit conservative, but also sometimes it's good to keep a distance. Like you have Vamsidas Babaji. He was a very advanced devotee, but also he was on a, he he had some way of dealing with his deities that is not understandable for the common people. He was more on the towards this Avaduta. Bhaktisiddhanta Maharaj, he knew, he understood, oh, this is a very advanced devotee. And Bhaktisiddhanta Maharaj associated with him, and they had like very nice relationship. But he also prohibited his disciples from associating with Vamsidas Babaji. Because he understood, okay, I mean, they were already making some offenses, so he understood, okay, you're not able to understand this kind of behavior. So better, if someone is an avaduta, he might be bona fide, but keep some distance. So, because the point is that we should somehow get to this minimum platform. Srila Rupa Goswami said, one should mentally honor the devotee who chants the holy name of Lord Krishna. This is the minimum. So if someone has some interesting behavior, it's okay. He might be an advanced devotee, but usually you keep a distance. Okay, no. So we should we do respect them in the mind, but sometimes we have to keep a distance. Also, specifically like in Vrindavan, you don't go around and you associate, you go to Vrindavan and you associate with all sorts of sadhus. Because you have no idea who is who, and who is a devotee, who is not a devotee. So, and some are very advanced devotees maybe, but you don't know, and you'll not be able to distinguish. So better keep a bit of distance. Okay, this part I will skip. How they figure it out. So that's one part. One part is that if when we see avadutas, we don't really know who is an advanced devotee and who is not, So we should be a bit conservative in our relationship with them. And the second part is that if we think we should act like avadutas, then don't. Because most of the avadutas, they are not preachers. They usually do these kind of things just to make sure that they have their own space. Nobody will bother their chanting. Nobody. They will just, leave me alone. And actually, our movement is not meant for avadutas. Our movement is meant for preachers. Very rarely in our movement someone is encouraged to do solitary bhajan, because there were many cases in the past of devotees who did the solitary bhajans and they just disappeared after some time. So we are supposed to be preachers. So a preacher is not supposed to act very unconventionally. A preacher should act like should give an example to others how they should act. Of course, just wearing a dhoti and tilak and it's already unconventional enough. But we should, and in some way we don't exactly adapt to what the public wants, but in another way, Srila Prabhupada wanted us to behave in a certain way, which is not like avadutas. He wanted us to be neat, clean, shave, don't have long hair, some culture. Because most of the people will judge based on some externals. And we, in some way, we don't care about what people think about us, but in other way, we do care what people think about us. Because we want to preach to these people, and we want them to like us. If they like you, then they will hear what you say. If they don't like you, then they will not hear what you say. Oh, this guy is too crazy. Okay. So, the point is that we shouldn't act too strange. We should give an example. Because we are preachers, we should act in a proper way, according to what Srila Prabhupada wanted us to do. And we should give a good example. And we cannot do any strange things because we are devotees. Like sometimes devotees do some very strange things because, we are devotees and they are karmics. We can do whatever we want. No. No, they will look at you like, these people are crazy. And they might be right, One of the things I learned very early, one of my mentor told me was, because we were renting some places, we were going preaching and we were renting some places. He said, the way you live the place you rented, you have to live it better than you got it, because that's part of preaching. They will say, oh, there was a Hare Krišna here, and he left it like spotless. Oh, there must be something about them. I think they had this Serbian camp, and they also had the same thing. After the camp, they cleaned everything. They were so nice, and the owners was like, oh wow, this group of people, they must be something special. Because all the other guests, they just leave a huge mess around, and they have to clean 2 days after. So that's the point, that it's not that we are, if we are devotees, we can act in any way we like. It's more in the other way, that because we are devotees and we represent Srila Prabhupada, we have to act in a proper way. How we deal with people, how we live things around, how we, because people are looking at this. So, so that's more or less the point. That it's really hard to recognize avadutas. They might be advanced, but we might not know who is who. And we shouldn't be avadutas. Srila Prabhupada said, or if someone wants to be an avaduta, probably they should be an avaduta outside the Hare Krishna temples. Srila Prabhupada said clearly, no lazy, no crazy. So if someone wants to be an avaduta, we respect him, but probably he should be somewhere else. Then, like people, you ask them how you about a certain person. Oh, this person came last week for the Sunday. How he liked? He liked it very much, but he will not come ever again. So some avadutas, if someone wants to be avaduta, we encourage him, we like him very much, but maybe he can do it some other place. Anyway, okay, I'll stop here. There are some questions, concerns, comments. Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai.